First and foremost, I was the first NIL player in the history of the game.
He doesn't say, oh, well, this is bad and the college is dead. And Deion Sanders has to be one of the most outspoken head coaches about the NIL, about transfer portal, and really being somebody who's offering solutions for things to be better. Recently, Deion Sanders was talking to some students, and he expressed and very proclaimed that he was the first ever NIL athlete. So we're going to listen to that story. Right, we're going to listen to him playing in the major leagues while also being at FSU, the things he did, how it affected him going into the pros. And then, of course, y'all know I've got plenty of them. So we're going to bring out some, these are older times of him talking about what he would do, you know, how crazy he would go if he was in the NIL, him talking about NIL deals. And then all the way back in Jackson State in 2022, he spoke on the issues of NIL. So not only was he the first to do it, but he continues to stand up for it. I think it's going to be a really good video, man. Really appreciate y'all watching these. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe if you want to stay locked in with transfer portal news, NIL videos like this. We do plenty of Deion Sanders and Colorado stuff. Y'all know that. So like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it. Let's hop right into it. So first things first, here's the story. Him talking about he's going to be the first one. Actually, we don't even have to watch this. He says it like in the first minute of this video. Shout out to who's this? This is pregame or is this Reach the People? This is Reach the People Media. We're not going to watch the full thing.
I want to know if any of these students are deserving. So we're going to turn the camera around, and they're going to get to say why they should be the one to get hired. I went fifth on purpose because I was also very astute and I was a businessman. First and foremost, I was the first NIL player in the history of the game. Let me explain. After my junior year, I didn't even play baseball my junior season. Not at all. I got tired of it. I got bored with it. It was too slow for me. I didn't play. But I still got drafted by the New York Yankees. Okay? And they offered me like $250,000. So I could leave college this summer and go make $250,000 and then come back, and I know I'm about to be the first top 5 picks. Who would take that deal? So, but in doing that, I had to relinquish my scholarship. So now I'm a walk-on, which was great for me because now you can explain some of the things that you have. Back then, you couldn't have fancy cars and nice stuff. Like, where you get that from? Did the agent get it? Right now you're gonna be up on investigation. So that made me a walk-on that I had accepted money, and it's cool because the Yankees paid for scholarship, they paid for tuition, they paid for housing, they paid for everything. So I was living a heck of a life. I went and played 6 weeks, 3 weeks in rookie league, which was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Sarasota. I'm sorry. I played 1 week in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Then I played 2 weeks in AAA in Columbus, Ohio, all in the summer. And I went back to Florida State after that to resume workouts and getting ready for the season. So it wasn't too much you could say to me. I'm not gonna say I took school very serious because it was hard when you accepted $250,000 and you know you're about to be one of the top 5 picks in the draft. It was hard to sit up in a class. You know that. But it was the classes that intrigued me, that stimulated my mind. I went to those.
Mm-hmm. Like Florida State education.
Man. I ain't going on that. I mean, it was wrong, but I wouldn't advise you all. But I didn't do it. So now I'm getting ready to go into the draft after my senior football season, but I'm already in spring training. Baseball spring training is in February, so I'm already in spring training with the Yankees. And it was crazy because I went to the combine. I just leave baseball, we didn't have all the training coaches and all that. We just ran. I just went to the combine, we ran and got back on the plane and went back to playing baseball, which was crazy, but I was a businessman. So I knew quarterbacks drove the market. Not a defensive back, not a lineman, not a running back, quarterback. So we wanted Troy Aikman in that draft to go first, who's a dear friend of mine, right? We played together, won a Super Bowl together. He went first. I was not going to Green Bay. They had the second pick. Do not draft me. I promise you, I am not going to Green Bay. It's freezing. I'm a black man, you know how we are. Okay. The third pick was the Detroit Lions. I'm not going to Detroit. Do not draft me, I'm playing baseball. Fourth pick was Kansas City. These are all cold weather cities. I'm not doing that. Fifth pick was Atlanta. When I was All-American my senior year, they took us on this All-American trip. I don't know if it's Kodak All-American or one of these All-American teams. We went to Atlanta and it blew my mind. I had never seen African-American people so influential and had means and wealth. Blew my mind. Black doctors, black lawyers, black police. I ain't never seen nothing like that coming from Florida, and it was crazy. So I made up my mind right then, that summer prior, that's kind of the summer, this is where I want to go. It's the Chocolate City. I don't know if any of you ever went to Atlanta, but it's mighty black. So I was really good with that. And I told other teams, don't draft me, I want to go to Atlanta, and that's how it happened. I got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, and I was thoroughly happy.
That's awesome. And obviously he's going to go watch this video because I believe he's doing some really good stuff with some of the local schools around Colorado. I believe specifically he's going to some of the, I think he's just at the University of Colorado, to be honest with you. But from what I understand, it's a larger initiative and doing a lot of good things. Before we go into what we're here for, and I think the meat and potatoes is kind of talking about NIL and some of the things that almost he predicted, he spoke on, and really we can kind of see the fruition to this day. Can we watch a little bit of Deion Sanders, you know what I'm saying, whipping that thing? Look, we talked about him playing, but he really did play. He was out there playing right field, you know what I'm saying, with the deuce on his back, you know what I'm saying? Oh, is this him smacking balls, or is he still out there? Pow. Okay. Right there, easy. Okay, here he is at bat now. Looking fresh. Again, I gotta keep it small. We can't do too much because they will copyright it, even though it's this old. Okay, no, everything's smooth. Okay, he out there. He gone. He's smooth. They said he messed up his wrist. He's stealing bases. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Well, it ain't no baseball channel. So let's talk about a few things. I think one of the first things that is important to talk about is when he talked about him being the first NIL athlete. Obviously, he just means that as he's making money. But a question was asked, just almost a year ago, about what would Deion Sanders be if he had NIL money at the time? Like,
what would 19-year prime look like in this landscape? Banks bouncing.
Hey, okay, hold on. Is he saved? Because if
not
he
yet.
ain't got the Lord with him,
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, if he ain't got the Lord with him, it's gonna be trouble.
You got baptized as a child, but you're 19 now.
But I got up and swam under that.
Yeah. He said,
ooh. I don't even know who to even compare me to what I would be like.
Oh my goodness.
Jesus.
Oh.
God. I would need help.
Yeah, I know.
Because all the access that the internet and Lord Jesus.
money.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would really need Jesus to come down himself.
Yeah.
Son,
Yes.
slow down.
Slow down.
I mean, hey, that's coming from the horse's mouth. Obviously, this one that was a little more funny. But let's go. Let me take you straight to the throwback back in 2022. I'm probably gonna have highlights over this because I can't play this ESPN stuff. But this is Deion Sanders speaking on NIL. Was this the first year or second year him at Jackson State? Here he is.
When you talk about name, image, and likeness, I haven't seen anybody on anything. We keep talking about these kids are making millions of dollars. What do they own? Where is the name, the image, and the likeness? Or is it just collective? It's just paying these kids to participate in this or that college. We don't have that. Again, we don't have those resources. We can't compete with that. So the little guy is pushed aside because now when it comes down to, is this guy going to choose this college or that college? We can't compete with anteing up to make sure that kid is compensated like he wants to be compensated. And I want these kids to start back focusing on the NFL and not the NIL. Now you have kids not even thinking about the wonderful job that Coach Saban has done in the track record that he's accumulated, but or the position coach, or does this scheme fit him? They're thinking about NIL. So if the money fits, I go there. And that's not the way to attack this thing, because the NFL is what's going to sustain you and maintain you, not the NIL.
Hey, that's something that he continues to preach about. And I think the funnier part about that, or maybe not necessarily funny, but the interesting part about that is that on this channel, we did a few videos talking about Kirby Smart, and Kirby Smart had these same exact remarks. So this is something that he saw, that Deion Sanders saw at JSU, not even involved in NIL because they can't really do that. They don't got collectives like that. They can't really back up any Brinks trucks. Deion Sanders was paying to have water and have hotels when they had that water crisis out of his own money. So it's a whole different way. He was calling out and saying, look, yo, it's clear what's going to happen. Shout out to Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin even called it out. And now Kirby Smart, I think, is running into the issue as well as he expresses that. And here he is kind of double downing on those same ideals of how he feels about NIL deals, you know?
It's supposed to be name, image, and likeness that these youngsters are getting compensated from. I have no problem with that. I like that. I think they should be compensated. But it needs to be name, image, and likeness. So when we say name, image, and likeness, that means I need to see you endorsing something, right? So when you hear about these crazy figures some of these college athletes are getting, what do you see them on? I got time. What? Maybe one guy, a quarterback from Alabama, and my son, who has quite a few endorsements, but really you have collectives. That's what Coach Saban was saying. You have collectives who's gotten together, which is another name for a bunch of handsomely compensated boosters, gotten together and put money in a pot and say, okay, we got 20 million here. Coach, here you go, do your thing. So the coach said, well, let me go get this guy right here. I gave him one. I give him 500. I give him. That's not name, image, and likeness. That's just really a collective just breaking these kids off. That's not what it was meant for. Now that upsets the little guy. How we going to compete with that at HBCUs when I believe 7%, if that, gives back to the schools in which they graduated from?
Alma mater.
A kid ain't even faithful to his girlfriend. You think he gonna be faithful to a school? Like, come on, man. Like that's like an emotional thing. What I wish the NCAA would do, honestly, if you're committed to somewhere, you can't go to no other visits. I wish that would be. Like, if you're committed, that means you're committed. You can't go to no other visit. So why would you be committed, but you still let kids go to other places? That don't make sense. So that means they just playing. They just playing. And one thing about it, we're not an ATM. That's not going to happen here. If you come to Colorado to play football for me and the Colorado Buffaloes because you really want to play football and receive a wonderful education, and all the business stuff is going to be handled on the back end if that's the case. But we are not an ATM. You're not coming here to get rich unless you really come here with a plan to go to the NFL and get your degree. Not to come here and be money bag yo. Okay? Is that a rapper, right?
It is, man.
I got that one right.
All right. He getting off his old head jokes. But in closing on those things specifically, right? I think because that was a year ago. The other one was about 2 years ago at Jackson State. Not just the presence and understanding and knowing it, being predictive and what's happening, but I think the other step, the other part of that is also, like I say, a lot of people complain, right? Lane Kiffin complains. A lot of people complain. Kirby Smart even complains, but not many of these coaches who complain and holler about NIL. I don't think they come with the same sort of solutions that Deion Sanders often has. Like, Deion Sanders leads with that. He doesn't say, oh, well, this is bad and the college is dead. And it's okay. So we have a problem. If we did this, the problem will be fixed. Like that's it. Like why are we not doing that? Why can't we make this more NFL? Why can't we do it like this? Why can't we, and he gives very specific reasonings as to what and how things should go. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's important. I think it's important that not only that, but he continues to preach this idea of financial literacy, right? That was one of the biggest things that he was asked in Big 12 Media Day. He was asked, what's the biggest thing that you would like to change about college sports, the modern college sports, is media literacy. Forcing the NCAA to say, hey, these young people who are starting to get money even younger, because we already know what happens to NFL players, the track record of them crashing out and completely going broke in under 2-3 years. Well, I don't know how, what the exact stat is. Well, how about we start you off earlier so you can crash and burn out even sooner? Give you money sooner that you probably shouldn't have access to at that age. and let you go kind of crazy with. Now bless the NIL, because y'all know me. I am someone who wants these kids to be paid, and I continue to be on that side. I don't understand. There's no other side. These kids need to be paid. I've been saying that since I was younger watching it. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are smacking their noggins against each other. Might as well give them a few scunions, right? Okay? But we can't just say that and then also implement it poorly. Because there's people in my comments, there's people who, whenever I make these NILs, either saying that, you guys just let them get paid. And the other people are like, well, this is what you asked for if you want an NIL. No, it's not. It's not too much to ask for something to be implemented in the correct way, especially from somebody like the NCAA, who historically has abused their power and their rules to permanently mess up the collegiate and athletic careers of certain young athletes, certain young adults. That was happening for years, and everybody was all crispy. But now that Diego Pavia is going to be 38 playing his 8th year of college football, people got a problem with it. It's kind of hilarious, but it just don't track with me. Closing out, apparently, Deion Sanders was hitting at something, and this is more of him giving back, right? He was at this. He was hosting a summit at Colorado with a lot of the high school coaches from not even around Colorado, but also from around the world. They had some Texas coaches. I live close to Gainesville. I'm not going to dox myself. I actually played against Gainesville High School. I mean, I don't live where I lived in high school, so I can just say this. I played against Gainesville High School when I was, in high school. That's the school that Deshaun Watson went to, by the way. So the head coach there currently is there, and I think they're a lot better. They weren't that great when we played them. They were good. But they historically are good. So, it's good to see. So let's see what he had to say, because he was hinting at some things in some adversity that goes a little bit bigger than, not making money or not doing things. Just like that next step of what it means in this modern landscape of college
After the
football.
game, financially.
A lot of colleges prepare that. They do. But the guy probably wasn't paying attention because he probably thought it didn't apply to him. A lot of these guys are already incorporated in businesses, and their LLCs already. They write cars off. They're doing all this stuff that we had no idea about in college. Parents have quit their jobs, and they're moving here with the kids. So now it's a whole production. So now you feeding the whole family. And it's going to be over in a minute. Then if they're not starting or making weight, they're going to transfer. So now the whole family got to get up and go. And the money is being squandered. And what we try to do is to teach our kids through adversity. Everybody's teaching you how to make it, how to do it, how to save money. What about when the girlfriend break up with you? What about when you get injured? What about when you squander the money? What about when you realize by your end of your junior year that you ain't that? Pro is not an option. That's what we're trying to teach
Squandered
you.
it. And obviously, again, that is always at the top of his bracket. The top of his bracket is making sure that these young gentlemen understand the full process. Not just, hey, let's cash out right now in NIL. Let's cash out in our lives, whether it be with degrees, whether it be with connections, or whether it be that NFL. And, the people want to paint Deion in certain ways. I've always known what it was, since a kid when I was watching highlights, sneaking them in class. Look, this is somebody who strives for excellence, who determines excellence and wants to impend and help others achieve that excellence. And you can't help but look at that as aspiring and inspiring. You know what I'm saying? Aspiring to want to do inspiring in your daily day. And I know you're great, so you're going to be great. But we're wrapping this video up. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about the modern landscape of NIL. Transfer portal videos are about to be ramping up, which means NIL videos are going to be ramping up because they go together. You got the Micah Hudson situation. I'm going to let that breathe for a second, see what happens. I want the full scenario there. We're going to talk about that. When the transfer portal opens up in April, it's going to be floodgates, dog. You guarantee there's going to be someone from Colorado leaving. We're going to check back in on our man Charles Huffs and the Tutors Biscuits, man. I really appreciate y'all watching these videos, though. So like them if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy college football content, updates, and everything else in between, man. We'll see you next time. Peace.